Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ohio Gripe. Welcome back, Patrick.
How we doing, everybody?
How are you?
That was really loud.
It was really loud, but that's okay. I can adjust it.
Yeah, so you have to tone that down in case people are wearing headphones at home. That ain't bad.
Would it, though? I mean, I'm thinking it might be really funny. Someone cruising down the street, and then all of a sudden...
Well, I mean, for us it'd be funny.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be funny for them.
Other folks. Whew.
Okay, I'm just going to take a second and adjust a little bit more.
He's got to adjust his microphone.
I had this adjusted, and then I moved it and made it worse, and now I'm going to make it worse again.
Okay.
Do you like that? Is that a good sound?
That is not a good sound.
Oh, okay. I'll quit doing it then.
Please stop.
Like the movie Arthur? Please stop that.
All right, so I have a question for you, sir.
Go ahead.
All right, listen. I heard a wicked rumor. A little birdie told me something. I heard you had some tire issues.
I did. For the life of me, I can't remember what damn day it was. It must have been Wednesday or Thursday because I had the day off.
Well, now, you mean you just... the other thing that we need to figure out, too, and just because I noticed this when I got here, you still haven't gone to the DMV, mister.
I know. That damn thing is... I'm going to do it tomorrow. I was going to do it today, and I decided that I'm fat and lazy, and I wasn't going to do it.
See, and that's weird. Like, and I don't know who all is watching this, but in Ohio, they switched from a 30-day tag when you buy a car to a 45-day tag.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's because it just takes so much longer for the government to get things...
I wouldn't doubt it.
...situated.
It used to be easy. Now they made it all complicated.
Oh, everything is crazy ridiculous these days.
But anyways, it expired, I think, last weekend. And like I said, I'm going to get them tomorrow. I'm not that worried. Because if you look, every time you see somebody with one of those paper plates, they're always expired.
Oh, or you see people rolling with no paper plate, no metal plate, no plate.
So I think that since COVID, the cops have really just, I don't want to say they don't care, but they just don't seem to be cracking down on it.
I don't think it's their priority.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was something that did start about that time. Back then.
So I figure I got time.
Yeah. My buddy. He drove 3,500 in a trailer, and you just go around and you move things instead of doing like semi-truckloads. And he said when COVID was going, he said I could roll past stadies in every state in the country going 90, and they wouldn't even look at me.
Wow.
Because apparently they didn't care. They didn't want to talk to nobody.
Well, there you go.
Weird.
But anyways, to answer your question, yes. So I got home, I drove around a little bit, had some, I can't remember nothing. But anyways, and a buddy of mine was leaving and said, did you know your rear tire's flat? And I'm like, you're funny. And he goes, no, I'm serious. And I went, oh, shit. So we're out there. Needless to say, it was flat. And I had only been home for a couple hours.
Side.
Huh?
Only on one side.
Yes, well, just one tire.
Yeah, but only one side of the tire was flat. The rest
That's
of it
true.
was fine.
It was just the bottom. The sides and the top were still fine.
That makes it rough when you go...
right, because then you go... But yeah, so the bottom of the tire was flat, so I needed to get that part fixed. I was late in the day, real late, and I didn't have a lot of time, so my wife while I took the tire off, my wife made some calls. She come out and she says, go here. They're going to close in a half hour, but they said if you get there quick, you can get it done. And I just want to give a shout out to these guys because they really hooked me up. Mr. Tire Auto Service Centers. The address is 3632 Lincoln Way East, Massillon. If you're in this area, check those guys out. They really did me a solid. Really hooked me up. Got me in, got me out, at last minute because they were closing up.
Right.
So, and he asked me, he says, is the tire on the vehicle? And I'm like, no. And he says, oh, that's fine. So they were prepared to take it off the vehicle.
Right. Well, I mean, for them, too, that's the other thing you got to realize. For them, dude, it's 3 pumps of a jack and
yeah.
It comes off really quick.
Yeah.
They're not like us, homesteaders that have to
I had to
spin the 4-way.
Yeah, actually, I used the jack the car came with because mine was buried in the garage.
Oh, man, that's...
And I'm just like, oh, well, so I dug it out of the back, and, I mean, it was the whole ordeal was over in a half an hour. But
well, it's not too bad, I guess.
No, and it was super cheap. So,
well, what was in the tire? Did they have to dig something out?
It was like a paperclip on steroids. It was just a big wire that was all mangled and shoved right in between the treads.
Sabotage.
Yeah, that's what
Somebody's
I'm thinking.
Like this guy.
I'm thinking somebody doesn't like the gripe.
I'm not letting this guy get famous.
I'm going to slow him down.
Right. Because Lord knows you can't be famous.
Right. Infamous.
So we both had flat tires because I still got mine.
You still got a flat tire?
Right down there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
A little birdie was talking to me, but I'm deaf, so I didn't hear him.
Yeah, you didn't hear him?
No.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I heard him, but it was just gibberish. I have no idea what he's saying.
Well, listen, you gotta learn to speak bird, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I was at a Halloween party, and I was with a couple of my friends, and we were walking down these steps, and since it was a Halloween party, obviously it was dark. And I told them, I said, girls, be careful, it's dark, don't fall down the... And now I have a fractured foot.
Oh, you broke your foot falling down.
Oh, no, fractured? I didn't actually fall either. That if I would have fell, I probably wouldn't have hurt myself, but I missed the second to the last step, and I rolled my ankle. And then I didn't fall. If I had just fell down, I probably wouldn't have landed on it and broke it. I probably have just dislocated my shoulder or whatever. But yeah, so now I got a size 30 boot on my foot, and I walk like a penguin.
Uh-oh. He broke his foot. We're going to start a... no, we're not, because I can't think of the goddamn name of it. GoFundMe page.
There we go.
It's a GoFundMe page to buy Patrick a new foot.
Buy me a new foot.
And then I'll end up saying something controversial, and they'll just take all the funds and give it to whoever they choose, because that's what GoFundMe does these days.
Assholes.
Is there any competition for that website? Is there another...
I don't know.
Fund type website?
Well, let's plug it in the Google machine and find out.
Yeah. Because, I mean, just even if they did it once, they still did it. And if you start raising money for someone and slip up and say something stupid, and all of a sudden, your thousands of dollars are gone because they didn't. I mean, that's just terrible.
If I could spell fur, that would be 4. Jeez.
Don't ask me to spell, please.
Well, I think you know that 4 is F-O-R, not F-I-R.
That is true, yes.
I mean, you might not be the greatest. It says 6 GoFundMe alternatives. Look at that.
All
Nonprofit.
right. All right.
What do we got here? Well, wow, we're moving awful slow here today.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's what happens. You got Fundly, which I've never heard of. Fundly. That's interesting. Give Butter.
Oh, okay. They need to work on the names.
I don't like that one. Donate Kindly. That one's all right. That's pretty much...
Ejaculate Money.
Yeah. Oh, Snowball Fundraising.
Oh, that's actually worse than the one I just said.
I was going to say, yeah. That Classy.
Classy.
At least that's classy.
Yeah, but they're pushing.
They are pushing.
They're reaching for that one.
Fundraiser, R-A-Z-R. Because, listen, you got to have that funky name.
Oh, you sure do.
Or the kids just won't do it.
You know the people that make these websites made them while drinking Starbucks in like a coffee house somewhere.
Well, listen, I can't crack on Starbucks. My female friend's daughter works for Starbucks, and
that doesn't mean you can't crash on them. I don't like their coffee.
Oh, I'm not a big coffee guy in general, so it's not that I don't like their coffee. I'm just not a big coffee guy in general.
I am. I love coffee. Like in Massillon, there's a Tremont coffee that I think is just delish.
Yeah, Chris was actually talking about that. She said it was good.
Yeah,
but
I had a job interview there, not at Tremont Coffee.
Oh.
I had a job interview at a company who did the interview at Tremont Coffee, which raised a red flag.
That is kind of weird.
But
we want you to work for us, but we don't have a facility to do that.
Yeah, so we want you to work for us. Shop. I don't want you to see the place, but we want you to work for us. But, it all went well, so yeah. I'll update you guys on that.
And that's a pro tip for all you younger viewers. If you do a job interview at an industrial-type place, warehouse, anything like that, always ask if you could do a quick tour just to check the place out. Because I'll tell you what, I used to be a mechanic, and I interviewed at a place, and it all looked good. And they're like, oh, we'll take a quick tour. We went through there, and I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah, no thanks. There's teeth, hair, and eyes all over that wall.
Oh,
I don't think I want to work here.
There was grease and oil just all over the floor. They weren't cleaning nothing up. I'm like, yeah, I'm not falling down and dying here. Sorry. Have a nice day. And I stayed where I was at.
I don't really have any tips. I'm always learning stuff on the go.
Well, the one thing that I found that is new, and I only found this out in like the last year, apparently it used to be when we were younger, when you went to a job interview, you wore a tie and a shirt, you looked all good. Now they're saying that you're supposed to dress 1 to 2 steps above whatever you would wear for doing that job.
Oh, now you tell me. Actually, I looked halfway decent. I had a button-up T-shirt, and I had my Duluth trading pants.
What the hell is a button-up T-shirt?
You're right. That was really stupid. I had a button-up shirt.
Okay, okay. Now that makes more sense. A button-up T-shirt.
A button-up T-shirt is a T-shirt that you ripped And then you sewed buttons on it to put it back together.
Okay. Well, your wife's got more time than me because I wouldn't be sewing buttons on a ripped T-shirt. Unless I really like that T-shirt.
But, yeah, I kind of feel stupid. Well, I always feel stupid.
Well,
I feel stupider.
But we are stupid, so, I mean, why
Yes.
not? I mean, what the hell?
But, no, I thought I looked fairly... The only thing that sucked was the shirt that I wore.
Were you going to say snazzy?
I don't know. That's for someone else. I just looked better than usual. But the problem I had is the shirt that I wore is kind of old. It was a little snug. I was afraid if I'd either fart or sneeze, it would just be flying confetti.
Well, here, just for all you kids out there, don't fart at a job interview.
Well, unless you have to.
Even if you have to, excuse yourself. Say, I'm sorry, I have an emergency type situation. Where's your restroom? And you do it in there.
Right. Or if it's an emergency type thing, suddenly start coughing. Just look at the guy with a face like, and go, oh, excuse me. and then, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I had like a fuzz or something. And then you kind of like do this, like, oh, my arm's suddenly sore. Yeah. And you blow it to the poor bastard behind you.
Tourette's.
Yeah, sorry. I got this muscle. Just hurts.
Just muscle spasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And then you could not work there.
Yeah, and if you do have the muscle spasm, say, this is only because the current job I have is very stressful. If I come work for you, that goes away.
Yeah.
That way they're not hiring that guy. He was flinging his shit all over the place.
I thought you were going to say it's the drugs. It's the drugs.
Yeah. I'm getting off of this stuff Tuesday. But
yeah, don't do that either. Don't even joke about that.
Yeah, that's right.
It could be fun, but you might not make any money that week.
Drug abuse is only fun if it depends on the drugs.
Oh, well. How do you abuse a drug? Do you tie it to something and beat it?
I know of one way. Back when Oxycontins or Oxycodons or however you say it, because I'm not a drug addict, when they first come out, people were crushing them and snorting them like cocaine. That is drug abuse.
That actually sounds like nose abuse.
Yeah. Oh, it was terrible. People were dying, and then they would get like super, super hooked on it, and you would just tear their noses up. And
what's what I'm saying? That sounds more like nose abuse than drug abuse. Good
self-abuse. Self-abuse.
I don't know if you would have sinuses left if you did that more than a few times.
You know, the truth of the matter is does oxycodone actually work better than Advil?
Oh, yeah.
Does it?
When I had my surgery,
never had much luck with it.
Since I'm one of these weird people, I'm allergic to Tylenol, acetaminophen. So they couldn't give me the normal, as he called it, pain meds for afterwards. They had to give me oxycodone. And, it works. It works so well, I only...
Oh, yeah, sorry about that.
It's 2 o'clock.
Yeah, but I don't think we're going to hear it again.
Well, I thought it goes off every 30 minutes. Well, we get
it does, but it's a single. It's a dong for half hours.
Oh, okay.
So we won't have to hear, 2 o'clock? We won't have to hear the 3. I could turn that off. I just keep forgetting.
Or don't know how.
And if you look, it's right up there in the corner. I'm trying to get my finger. I think I got it. Wait, I know you can't. If you're listening... Then he's pointing right at it. I'm going to try. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter.
I don't know if you guys ever done this, but everything's backwards. I'm like, oh, I got to turn that way. Nope, that way. Nope.
There it is. Oh, you had it for a second. There it is. No, you got it. Perfect.
There. But anyway, yeah, so I can't take the normal pain meds. So they gave me that, and it worked so well that he gave me like 15. I think I took 4.
Oh, I got a funny story. Go ahead.
Because I'm like, yep, that's enough of those. And then, of course, when I did this the other day in the middle of the night at 11 o'clock at night, I'm like, man, I need to go to the house and get those. And I couldn't find them.
Oh.
Because I'm like, I said, I'm going to put these somewhere in case I ever have some type of accident and I'm in extreme pain. I could be like, boom, I've got a couple pills. So, Chris.
Hold on. The key phrase there is, I'm going to put these somewhere where I'll remember. And that's exactly why you forgot.
Well, so Chris, being the nice person that she is, even though I break her balls relentlessly. I don't know. Someday she's going to realize that I'm not just an overgrown man-child and leave me. But anyway, so she drives all the way to my house from where we were at to get these, and I couldn't find them.
You can't tell you how many. It's the first thing I say when my wife is like, I'm all pissed and the filth and floor, and she's like, what's wrong?
What the fuck?
The first thing I say is, I put this, here's my phone. I put my phone where I knew I wouldn't forget it.
And now I don't remember where I put it.
And I have no idea where that is. I do it to myself constantly, and each time I get furious with myself because I know better, but I still do it.
Still do it. And you're like, flock of seagulls.
Terrible. Except I don't say anything about seagulls.
Mine.
Well, see, I'm flock instead of other words. So we don't want to say other words because then we'll get kicked off YouTube.
Oh, not
Actually,
really.
I don't know if we would or not.
No. If we talked about COVID, then yes, we'd get kicked off YouTube.
Well, let's not talk about that.
Yeah. From what I understand, I'm not extremely versed in it, but you're allowed to bash Christians, but you're not allowed to bash anything else. You're allowed to talk about any disease except COVID, and you're not allowed to talk about any group that's a victim.
Well, aren't all groups of victims at some freaking point? I mean, there's nobody out there that's
but
never
YouTube
had
has
something
like a
bad.
list of specific victims groups that they protect.
Victims group. I see. I thought you meant like I was going to say like I don't know anybody that's in any group that didn't ever had anything bad happen.
Right. But yeah, they have a specific list that they have created, and you're not allowed to talk about that. So what I do is I just talk, and if we get kicked off YouTube, so be it.
And we'll just I don't know
because YouTube has no love for us, anyways.
Well, YouTube I don't think has a love for anyone really, except for themselves and maybe the advertisers that actually
Some
give
people
them
do
money.
really well on YouTube. It's really strange, and then other people, not so much.
Well, right. I mean,
those algorithms. That's what you got to get down.
Yeah, algorithm.
You got to play
spell it, let alone do it.
Right. You got to play that math just right, and then you'll get somewhere. And all I do is
now you really lost me. I can't spell or do math.
Yeah, I can't spell. I can't read.
SPLL.
But what?
SPLL spell?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Is that right? Okay.
Just don't ask me to spell neighborhood.
Okay.
I'm not even you're going to try it.
Hood.
Anyways, now what were we talking about? What started this whole thing?
I don't know. Something about me falling down the steps, I think.
Yeah, you were talking about that. Oh, when I had my surgery.
Oh, yeah.
I swear to God, I was in a hospital for, I think, 3 days. And when they gave me Dilaudid, it worked. Made me tired, fuzzy and tired, and I go to sleep. But when that ibuprofen bag ran out, holy shit, did I know it immediately.
What kind of surgery did you have? I
had a colectomy. Okay. And I talked about it the entire time on this podcast.
Well, I will tell you, one of the reasons that probably is hang on, I adjust my cans. These cans.
Oh, I was thinking.
I don't have these cans.
I do. Go ahead, though.
Anyway, so the ibuprofen is probably what was keeping the inflammation down in that area. So it might not have been the pain it was keeping away, but when the inflammation came back, that caused you pain because it was pushing on stitches and stretching this and moving that or something. Mm-hmm. Might be what that was.
Either way.
But I don't know. I'm not.
And then once I was released from the hospital, I don't think I took a pain pill since.
Yeah, I did. Mine was, I was out right afterwards. Like, they did it, and then they had my friend come get me, and rolled right out. Went to pick up prescription. This is what really angered me about the whole thing, is they gave me a prescription for pain pills, right? And I'm like, cool. They're like, we'll call it in to where you go, which is the Walmart by my house. So we get all done and hobble all the way out to the car, and my friend Lexi, shout out to Lexi, she's awesome. She helps me out with all kinds of cool stuff. But anyway, so I can't drive, I can't do that. I don't even know what day it is because I just got out of surgery, and this girl who's, I don't know, about as big as one of your dogs is trying to help me. So we hobble all the way into Walmart for them to say, oh, we don't have that. And I'm like, well, why didn't you call the place that called it in and say we don't have that? Oh, we sent them an email. Oh, great. So now I have to go home, call the place that had surgery, be like, hey, they don't have that. She goes, well, why didn't they call us? And I'm like, they said they sent you an email. She goes, bullshit. I get the emails. I don't got no email. So I'm like, okay, well, we got to get it sent somewhere. Because they're saying this was like a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Was it Tuesday I had surgery? I can't remember.
I don't know why I said, yeah, I wasn't there.
Yeah, but you were at work and knew what day I went in there. I think it was a Tuesday I had surgery. Anyway, we'll have that Friday. And I'm like, Friday I'm not going to need it, pal. I just got gutted like a fish over here. And now you're saying I got to wait 3 days to get pain medication? I don't think so. So anyway, they finally found a place that had it, and I just had to go get it later from somewhere else. But that just, especially for something like that.
Yeah.
Coming from the surgical unit.
Yeah, but
you would think they'd be like, we should probably call them.
Consider the source, though. You were talking to Walmart.
Yeah.
Those people don't give a fuck about nothing. Now, with that being said,
space.
I go to Drug Mart.
Discount Drug Mart.
Yes, and it's a great place, except, I hate to do this, but their clientele. Every time I go there, there's an elderly person who you want to be patient with because, you know, you're going to be there someday.
Right.
But they're always asking questions that have nothing to do with their medications, and you're just there for minutes and minutes and minutes while you see the expression on the pharmacist's face trying to tell them and express through look. You're asking the wrong question.
Right. It's kind of like when you're
This
driving.
medication isn't over the counter. That's why you got a prescription. But I couldn't find it on the shelf out here because this medication is not over the counter. But it should be. Ma'am, over the counter means you don't need a prescription and it is readily stocked onto shelves. This medication is not over the counter. Well, does that mean I got to come here to get it each time? Yes, you need to come to me to get it filled. But where should it be on the shelf? It's not on the shelf, ma'am. It's
nowhere.
You need a prescription. So who do I get the prescription from? You get it from your doctor. And then I'm behind him going, I'm going to die here. So if I can just get into place without a line of elderly people, and I'm not trying to bash all elderly people. It seems like I get behind the worst ones.
Well, and it's not just, well, I mean, driving's the same way. Like the elderly folk that get in the fast lane and like, I've got just as much right to be here as you. Yeah, that's true, but you're going to get run the hell over.
Yes, and there's a flip side to that coin. You're right. But if I'm in the fast lane and I'm doing 10 to 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, if you think you're going to get up behind me, flash your brights, and I'm going to get over, you can kiss both sides of my ass.
That might take
if we're both breaking the law, don't try to say that I'm breaking the law, not letting you get past me. There's 3 or 2 other lanes, on the other side of me. Go around me.
Good luck.
I love that when people, you should have got out of his way. I was doing 70. The speed limit was 60. Don't tell me that I need to get out of this guy who wants to do 80.
Well, let's be honest, Mark. You drive a mommy mobile. It's not too hard to get around you.
Yeah, but that mommy mobile will do 100 miles an hour just as much as anyone else's car.
But people that do that are driving cars that go $180. Let's be honest. They're driving.
Yeah, but you don't do $180 on Ohio roads. First off,
yes,
will
people
launch
do.
Your ass. You hit a pothole doing 180, and you're now an airplane for a second.
Well, listen, who doesn't want to fly?
Yeah, or you'll hit some wet part of the pavement, and if you don't have great tires, you're just going to become a tilt-a-whirl. We're talking Ohio roads.
Listen, I didn't say it wouldn't be entertaining. I just said these are the people that flash their lights and say, "Get the hell out of my way."
No. If I'm doing, like I said, if I'm doing 5 miles over the speed limit, you'd be amazed at how courteous I am on the road. I will get out of your way. But if I'm doing, like I said, if I'm doing 15 miles over the speed limit and I'm in that lane because I know eventually I'm going to get in front of all this traffic, I'm not just going to slow down, merge, so you can do 20 miles over the speed limit. If I'm working my way up front, you're not going to get around me until I get where I'm going, unless I'm doing the speed limit or I'm only over for a second to get around like a semi, and then I get in front of him. But, there's people where I'll be cruising along 12, 13, 15 miles an hour over the speed limit and passing everybody.
Right.
And there's this jackass in a Honda, and you can see the smoke coming out of the engine compartment because he's got it floored. And he's trying to get...
The hamster's hair is on fire under there, running through the wheel.
Sorry, little boy. You're going to just have to get around me the old-fashioned way. I will get over once I get in front of all the traffic.
See, that's the other thing. Like, when I was younger, in my 20s, everybody was like, it was when the road rage thing, right? We got to do something about road rage. I'm like, yeah, teach common courtesy with driver's ed.
And another thing, when I was in my 20s, I had no problem switching lanes. I never expected anybody to get out of my way.
Oh, no. I didn't give a hoot one way or the other.
Yeah,
I would
it's like, you can stay in this lane, but as soon as this one opens up, I'm going around you. But I never was the flat. That's just an arrogance and title thing. Flash your brights and hit your horn. Like, you need to get out of my way.
Well, see,
how
but
about I just chuck an orange right out my window?
There's also the difference between the guy that waits till he's this far from your bumper to flash to move.
Yeah, and then you can't see nothing. You just see
and the guy that's, an eighth of a mile behind you coming up quick and is like, hey, dude, hey, I'm coming. If you can get, thank you. That doesn't bother me so much as, like you say, as the guy that's riding your butt.
Yeah.
The dude that you can see coming at 105 that's, hey, I'm coming. That guy I don't mind sliding over for, because, at least he's giving you a little bit of warning and he's not being a complete and total jerkwad.
Yeah, the only problem is I'm cursed with timing. So when that guy comes is when there's a solid line of traffic and I can't get over.
Well, see, but that's because that old lady we were just talking about is going 45 in a 65 with a seatbelt hanging out, making sparks dragging down the side of the friggin' highway.
I get that, but I still can't get over, and I'm not doing 120, so this guy can, he's just going to have to slow down until I can get over. So it's, like I said, I'm in the same boat. If you play with me, I'm going to play with you. I don't play those games. Even though I just said I'll play those games.
Right. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Exactly. But rewind a little bit. We were talking about drugs.
Drugs, yes, taking drugs.
Remember when you said you had a safe place and you put them there? Okay, so 2 years ago, and all this was talked about on the podcast with the previous host. I got a prescription because I had an infection.
Okay.
And I was, right when we started this podcast is when I was right in the middle of battling this infection. And they gave me Percocets, which didn't do a damn thing. But every once in a while, the pain would get real bad.
Absolutely.
Not all the time, but every once in a while. So I had this prescription. I had 20 pills or something like that. And I didn't take them all the time. I just took them when I needed them, which was very seldom. So I got this one day, and the pain was just terrible. So I took 2 of them and then just phased out for several hours.
So that'll happen.
And the next morning, the bottle was empty. So I had taken, when I first went to the ER, they gave me Percocets.
Okay.
Right? And then I got diagnosed, and they gave me another thing of Percocets.
Oh.
So what I emptied was the very first prescription, where it was only maybe 10.
Right.
And I think the second one was 15 to 20. So I'm like, fuck, if I have another day like I had yesterday,
I might need more of these.
So I went back to the it was a butt doctor, and I told him, I said, I used up all those Perkies, and he said, I just gave you that prescription 2 weeks ago. And I said, yeah, I know. I said, I don't know what to tell you because I'm not a drug addict, but I really would like to have. I said, just give me a few so I can just kind of keep them. And he said, well, I can write your prescription, but your insurance won't cover it. And I'm like, okay. That's just a bridge I got to cross.
They are very expensive.
Well, actually, no, they weren't. So he wrote me the prescription, and I went down to Mercy's pharmacy, and the guy said, your insurance won't cover this. I said, what's the cost? He said, it'll be $40. And that's just out-of-pocket cost for, I think it was 10 Perkies.
Yeah, that's kind of expensive. $40 for 10 of them. That's almost street value, homie.
Okay, that's fine.
You probably could have bought them from Zed on the fucking street corner for $2 a piece.
Oh well, I didn't. At the time, I didn't think $40 was
and I'm
bad.
just saying, I don't know Zed actually sells drugs on the street corner. I
don't know Zed, but I do know if I knew someone named Zed, we probably wouldn't be friends because I wouldn't be able to not pick on his
if we knew somebody named Zed, he'd be sitting right here, right now, talking about why the hell his name is Zed.
Right. anyways, so I just dropped the $40, and then about a week later,
you found the other bottle.
Right. I think I put them in a place they never should have been. And now I had this surplus of, and my doctor's looking at me writing this prescription like, you're going to get fucking addicted to these damn things. Stupid son of a bitch.
And you said, I'm not going to get addicted to them. I have a nickname named Zed, and I stand on the street corner, and I sell these.
Actually, I hate to say it, but I did do that. A buddy of mine, I don't condone this.
Don't sell.
But a buddy of mine was in a bad way. He needed money, so I gave him to him, and I said, whatever you do with him, I don't want to know about it. I will admit I did do that, and I think he sold him and paid his rent. But
listen.
So it's not something I condone.
I have nothing to do with what he was just speaking of.
Right.
Any law enforcement listening, my name's Bennett, and I ain't in it.
But even if there is law enforcement, there's no proof. Good luck.
I'm Paul, and this is between y'all.
I can say this, though. If you have an old prescription and you need to get rid of it, don't put it in the toilet or in the water supply. I found out that the local water, what's that called? Treatment, the water treatment plant, they actually can't filter that out. And that medicine then goes to everyone's house, and everybody gets a little bit of it. So don't ever flush drugs down the toilet or like down the sink.
PSA: stop drinking water.
Yep, and don't throw them in, just out into the yard somewhere.
So what you're saying is we should crush them up and throw them in the fish pond?
You could do that.
See some
that's better than
fishies.
That's better than putting it in a water table.
Well, I don't know. Stone fish. That sounds kind of scary.
Yeah, but it might be easier to catch.
I don't know.
You just wave like a piece of bread to get the munchies and come up.
You got to wave another pill. Hey.
Yeah. Put a pill on a hook.
Fish will be like, oh, shit.
I didn't even know there were turtles in this pond. Dude, I don't care what you do, but can I have the pill?
Hey, man.
So I thought that was funny. I'm always losing
losing stuff. I always lose stuff, too. First thing I lost was my mind. I still haven't found that.
Yeah.
I misplaced it many, 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 many moons ago.
At least you had one to misplace.
I think we're all born with one.
Are we?
I think so.
Maybe I lost mine.
Actually, maybe for me, when I was being, whatever, and God's like, I'm giving out brains, and I thought he said trains, and I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So I didn't get none.
That's a damn shame.
I know, it sucks.
So anyways, moving right along.
Yeah, moving on.
I want to give a quick, what's the word? I want to let you know, I always have to use more words than normal because I can never think of the
Are you thinking
words.
of the word shout out?
No, because it's not really a shout out.
Thank you?
Man, no, it's not really a thank you.
Hey, what's up?
It could be that. If you're in the Massillon area on November 18th, yours truly is going to be in the Massillon Christmas Parade.
Oh, yeah. We gotta...
Or you could say the Massillon Thanksgiving Parade. I think that's probably a little bit more close. Is the Massillon Thanksgiving
Do they actually
Day
call
Parade.
it the Christmas Parade?
I call it the Christmas Parade because it's habit. But I think they call it the Thanksgiving Day Parade.
See, I thought I don't know.
It's just not on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, I think they call it the Christmas Parade because they light the Christmas tree downtown afterwards. I think that's why they do that.
Might be. We need to get someone on the podcast that works for Massillon so we can just drill them with all this information.
Well,
why do you call it this? What is your job? Who are you?
But we don't want to do that because then we're going to get all kinds of questions and comments of things. Because
Good.
listen,
Finally,
I'm going to tell you something. I got a friend. I told her I was going to do the podcast called the Ohio Gripe, and she's like, I want to come on because I got things to gripe about. And I'm like, oh, boy.
That's fine. I griped about a few things. I remember. No, I don't. Anyways, we are going to be in the parade, so come on out. I think it starts at 4, but if I'm wrong, I'll have more information on that closer to the date. We'll talk about it again. But I think it's at 4 or 4-ish. Maybe it starts at 5, just Lincoln Way East.
Come down and check us out.
Yep, and check out everybody else. There'll be a whole bunch of people there.
By the way, I did find some other information out about the parade that might be interesting.
Yeah.
We were thinking of throwing candy to the kids. Apparently, it says on the website that you are not allowed to do that. You have to hand the candy directly to the children.
What they do in the past is they toss it onto the ground and let it bounce to the kids. That's what I was thinking.
So they have to fight the raccoons for it. I got it. I answered.
Hey.
Sewer rats.
Oh, yeah, sewer rats. Well, you got to feed them, too.
It's Massillon. There's
the season forgiving.
Yeah, what the hell?
But I figured those are details. They're supposed to send us a letter with all the official rules 2 weeks before the parade.
Okay.
But
just on that note, I have to throw this out there. It's Halloween time here in Ohio, and I see all these people talking about check your kids' candy for drugs. Let me tell you something. Anybody that's a drug addict is not going to put their drugs in candy for your kids.
This shit's
They're
expensive.
going to take that shit and laugh at your kids' costumes.
Right. That shit's expensive. They're not going to waste it. Did I just say I dropped $40 for 10 pills?
Right. I mean, who the hell's going to... Drug addicts, if they spend money, it's going to be fun for them, not for your children.
Right. Yes.
I don't understand the whole...
You know what? They've destroyed Trick or Treat.
Right, and the whole thing was, I think the thing I said, it said something about, be careful, people are giving edibles out instead of regular candy. And I'm like, no,
if you can't tell the difference between
No,
a
they're
candy corn and an edible, just saying.
I'm just saying, who the hell is going to spend $35 per kid and hand out that shit at Halloween? Come on.
Yeah. No, when we were kids, we trick or treat at night. We did it in our neighborhood. And my mother checked my candy, but so what? You know, it took her 2 minutes to check a couple pieces while I was eating those. She checked the rest of it, just fumbled through it. We had homemade stuff. We had store-bought stuff.
Yeah.
And the poor kids yesterday, we had our trick-or-treat yesterday.
Okay.
And, you know, that was the chair, I swear to God.
I'm like, wow.
Anyways, as we were saying, you didn't even cough. I mean, you're supposed to like... Anyways.
I thought
it was raining. It was miserable. But we still had quite a few kids walking around. And we had a few pretty older teenagers, which I personally don't care. I know some people I know some people, you get to be a teenager. If a 45-year-old guy showed up in a costume, I'd give him some candy. I just don't care.
Right. Well, see, like when I lived in Canal Fulton, which for some reason, if you look my full name up, I still live there, but I don't. When we did trick-or-treat, I gave the parents candy. I don't care. But
anyways, I mean, it was so much more fun. It's still fun, and I guess the kids nowadays don't know any better. But it was just, it had more nuance at night.
Yeah. See, that was the other thing that me and Toots were talking about. Sorry, I probably should have just called her Chris. Anyway, they did like the zombie. She used to always do the zombie walks or whatever. And she was saying when they were doing the candy that the adults were pushing the kids out of the way and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I'd be beating the hell out of some adults for that.
Yeah, the kids come first, especially at Halloween.
Well, and even if they're not adults, you don't push somebody out of the way to get a piece of candy.
Right. Yeah.
It's just 10 times worse when you push a little kid out of the way to get a piece of candy.
You can push my child, but you'll have a permanent limp.
Right. Listen, I mean, if that would be almost like trying to push one of us to get in front of us at the buffet, you're probably not going to make it.
Yeah. You'll have people will be asking you for years to come, oh, did you get attacked by a shark?
Why do you have an eye patch?
And
then
somebody
stabbed me in the eye with a fork.
Right, and then you'll have to explain to them how you were at a buffet and a fat guy bit you because you tried to get in front of me. I've done it before.
Listen, I haven't bit anybody, but I will stab you with a fork if you try.
Well, you have to have a fork. And what am I going to do? Like cat claw? No, listen, I'm just going to take a chomp.
You can always get another fork. There's waitresses around.
That's true.
And the worst thing, listen, and I don't care who you are. It could be King Kong Bundy. We fighting if we at the breakfast buffet and you trying to take the bacon.
That's the last strip of bacon.
Listen, the only thing that's better than bacon, more bacon.
Well, you can have the bacon.
You don't like bacon?
It's not that I don't like it. I don't like it that much. Like, I'll eat it, but I don't love it that much.
Well, it's been nice knowing you guys. I cannot co-host with a man that does not enjoy bacon.
I did not say I didn't enjoy it. I just don't eat a ton of it. I'll have 2 or 3 strips and be good. And then the eggs, on the other hand, even if they're fake eggs, I'll plow those.
Oh, I love eggs. But listen, 2 or 3 strips of bacon, that's not even enough to make a half a sandwich.
Hey, that just leaves more bacon for you.
Speaking of which, you know what the best sandwich that's not fattening is? A half a sandwich. Ha ha. Dad joke. Sorry.
Anyways.
Oh, so anyway, yeah, the other thing we were discussing about doing, we were talking about doing like the movie of the month or whatever, obscure, weird movies. Oh, crap.
Yes, I didn't even. We can start that. I have a few.
I have a nuance we should do.
Okay.
We should let them pick a movie we have to watch.
That's not a bad idea. As long as they actually do it. Come on, guys.
Right.
Look, there's several ways to get a hold of us. You could send us an email at ohiogripe@gmail.com or hit us up on our website. If you get to our website and scroll down, there is a comments section. There is also a complete forum.
English is tough.
It even says it. It says members and then forum. You can do that. If you don't want to do that, leave a comment on either Twitter, Failure Book, or YouTube, and we'll get it. So just tell us what movies you think are great. I don't care if it's old, new. If I've seen it, I'll let you know, and I'll give you some details of what I like about it.
Preferably on a streaming, a streaming network of something that we can watch, and we don't have to go purchase. I mean, we can.
Well, I'm not broke. I can purchase it.
I could purchase a movie, but I'm just saying, if it's on a streaming platform, it would be easier.
Yes, it would be. It would be, immediate. But, yeah.
But, yeah. And, also, listen.
And before
keep it clean.
Well, I was going to recommend Pink Flamingos, but
well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about I don't want to hear,
Oh, Debbie Does Dallas?
Well, did she do the whole town of Dallas?
I think she did, actually.
Man, that girl had to be wore the hell out.
Well, I mean, it was Debbie Does Dallas, and then it was Honey, I Blew Up My Tits.
Oh.
And then it was Edward Penis Hands.
Then Houston 500.
Buttman and Thrubbin.
Houston 500.
Yeah. And then, my brain just went blank. I had a whole bunch of them. Saving Ryan's Privates.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know nothing about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of them.
I don't know. I'm not into that adult, nasty, dirty stuff.
Pornhub kind of took them all out.
Pornhub? What is Pornhub?
Huh?
What is Pornhub?
It's a website.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of those high-volume websites. Anyways.
All right, Pornhub, we just gave you a shout-out. Throw us some money. I don't know what the hell you all do, but hook us up.
There goes our spot in the parade.
Yeah, damn it, Jim.
But give us a name of a movie right now. One that you think we should
throw one in there, yeah. I don't know how many people are actually writing comments or whatever, but we can do that. That'd be fun.
And you, right now, give us one.
11:14.
11:14. That's a movie.
Yeah, that's at the time. 11:14. 11.14.
Okay.
It's actually a very good movie. It actually has a few big names in it, but it's kind of an obscure one that I think everyone will enjoy. It might be tough to find, but it's great. Patrick Swayze's in it. Hilary Swank's in it. Rachel A. Cook is in it. It's
I hate how you know all these names. Like, I know Patrick Swayze, and I've heard Hilary Swank, but I can't picture the faces. I just can't remember nothing.
We got a Google machine if you want to see them.
Well, you can bring up the movie, and maybe if I see the...
You know what? I can probably just IMBD that stuff. Oh, look, another shout-out. IMBD, send us some money. Listen, I'm trying to,
Forget about the monster he's been drinking the whole time.
Listen, they already know they get my money. They get my money.
That's reverse business there.
I know. So let's see. That is not what in the world. What in the world is that?
IMBD? Is that like a disease?
Internet Movie Database.com. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. There it is, right there. Boom. And it goes right back to that. What in the... There we go. That looks a little bit. Hey, hello.
Oh yeah, that was the single.
That was the single. Wow,
See, we don't
for a half an hour.
Yeah, we got about maybe 20 minutes if we want to stick to the hour-long forecast. All right, I am trying to think. Give me a category. Give me a genre of movie, and then I'll give you a title.
Okay, let's do comedy.
Comedy. Okay. All right, now I have to break this down. There's a shit ton of comedy movies. Do you want seasonal comedy, like maybe a spooky comedy because it's Halloween, or a Thanksgiving comedy? Or do you want just basic make me laugh?
Basic make me laugh, funniest thing that nobody's ever seen before.
Okay, an obscure comedy. All right. So there is a movie that was made by a bunch of college kids in the 80s.
Okay.
And it is, in my personal opinion, it is absolutely gut-wrenchingly hilarious because it does have some bad acting because it's no names in it.
Okay.
But the bad acting only adds to the characters, and it's kind of slapstick. So it's a little bit like Kentucky Fried Movie, or maybe, give me a second, Naked Gun, or along that line. So
Airplane?
Just slapstick, yes, slapstick. But it's got some of the most memorable characters you'll ever see. And the movie is called Student Bodies. Go ahead and punch that up.
Okay, well, anyway, this is there's Tom Hanks' son's in it. That's his son, right? That's Tom Hanks' son's in it. This guy here, I can't remember his name. Ben Foster's in it. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people. Okay, so anyway, what was the name of this again?
So it's the movie's title is 11:14, as in 11:14 p.m.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, it's called Student Bodies. It's a parody of a slasher movie, and I promise you, it is genius.
There we go.
And it's not as ridiculous as like the Sharknado movies. It's not that ridiculous. It's just more slapstick. Yes.
1981?
Yep.
Oh, look. He's got his stuff on backwards.
The whole movie just is insane.
Let's see who was in this.
There's nobody in it. There's no real names in it.
Kristen Ritter.
That's her name?
Yeah, she was. She played Jesse Pinkman's girlfriend on Breaking Bad, that died of an overdose.
Oh,
God, what was his name? He was on Three's Company. John Ritter. I think it's his daughter.
Oh,
or something. I think they're related somehow. I don't quote me on that, but yeah.
Anyways, so that's my pick. Student Bodies, and it is on Prime.
All right, I'll have to watch that one.
That movie is brilliant. I remember watching that as a kid with my brother and my cousin, and we were just losing it. So it's even funny to young kids.
All right.
You can get the jokes.
So, all right, so that's we're going to do the movie of the month, or do you want to do movie by
I say we do one every podcast. The only thing is you got to remind me because I'll...
See, sometimes it'd be tough for me to watch movies. That's why I was thinking maybe every other week, the bi-weekly or something like that. Yeah. Now, we're going to do, if you want to really get into something cool, we could do a series of the year where we all have to watch a series and then discuss it at the end of the year.
I already got one.
Which one do you want to do?
Fuck. What's the name of it?
What channel is that on? Jesus.
That's Pornhub.
Fuck, what's the name of it? What's
Gosh
the name?
damn it. I can't think of it. Oh, this is pitiful. I really, honestly, I can't. I can picture it, and I can't think of the name of it. Go ahead. You talk. I'll think.
I'll tell you the one that I would have you watch.
Pitiful.
Pitiful, is that the name?
No,
the one that I would have everybody watch. And now listen, if you're super Christian people, you don't want to watch this because there's a lot of swearing in it. But it's an HBO series called The Wire.
Okay.
And it came out in like the 2000, 2001, 2002. It was right back in that area. And it's a cops and robbers kind of thing, but it's more of a cops and drug dealers kind of thing. And it shows how cops would do surveillance and stuff and for the city of Baltimore. So 1 year, one season is they're after this. Yeah, excuse me, man. Sorry, not bad manners, just good monster.
You had a reverse belt.
Yeah, but so the first season they're chasing.
Go ahead.
They're chasing the kingpin that sells all the drugs on the street. The second season is about the corrupt way drugs and things come into the country through the port of Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And the reason they get into that is there's an accident and some people die in a container. So that's really interesting. The third season is when the guy in the first season gets out of prison early because he does some crazy stuff to get out of prison, and how that all rolls into the guy that took over to be the drug kingpin when he went to prison. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty good. And then the next season is the corrupt school system and why it kind of shows why things are the way they are in Baltimore. Like downtown, like people like I don't know what you want to call it, the inner city, I guess. And then the last one shows how the media is and how it's so tough for like the newspapers. They used newspapers at the time. Now, who reads a newspaper? But how it's so difficult.
That was the chair.
Yeah, I don't know why you gave me the fart chair.
I didn't know it was the fart chair until you got in it.
So maybe it's just my fat ass. But yeah, so that it kind of gets into how the media system and big businesses in the media to change things and do things to make it rough for them to actually do things correctly, and why people say don't ever trust the media.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really cool.
So it's actually kind of realistic.
It is. Well, actually, when it first came out, I guess there was a lot of complaints from people that actually are cops because they're stop giving away our tactics.
Oh, shit.
But I will say, like I said, if you're like super religious, you probably don't want to watch it because there's a lot of F-bombs, a lot of N-words. It's because it is definitely inner city things. So, I mean, you're going to have to say, it's just like living there. You're going to hear people say things that they would say if you lived in downtown Baltimore. You
know what? That's a lot of stuff nowadays. I mean, even Kevin Hart can't get through a set without
dropping an F-bomb.
Yeah. So, and I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying that when he first started, he wasn't as bad, and then he got bad. Right. I don't mind. I just think clean comedy is funnier than
I think
unclean,
some of it is,
but it doesn't matter to me. I can deal with F-bombs all day long.
I think there's some things that when you're really got to put a point on the end of a joke, if you drop an F-bomb or whatever, I mean that.
A series. I'm sorry. A series that's really good at that.
Let's see.
They'll do F-bombs, but they'll do it at the perfect, like when it really needs to be an F-bomb. Is The Witcher with Harry Cavill in it.
Don't think I ever watched that one.
It's actually really good. I never played the games, never read the books. I just happened to put it on one night, and I kind of got into it. but so I'm only speaking from the series aspect. I'm not speaking of the games or the books. But yeah, it's mostly clean, and then every once in a while they'll drop an F-bomb, and it's perfect. It's just perfect timing.
See, now if you're a female and are into like wild things, Chris actually got done watching a series. She's like, I don't know what I'm going to watch next. And I'm like, oh, here, you got HBO Plus or Max or whatever it's called, right? She's like, yeah. I said, well, watch this one. She's like, okay. That was, I don't think it was two weeks ago. And she's through almost 6 seasons already.
Damn. That's bad as my wife.
So apparently it must be good.
Binge
She really likes it.
Okay. I remembered.
You remembered?
I did.
By remember, he means I looked that shit up.
Well, yeah. I don't have a memory. Hey, let's be honest. You have to remember some of it to look it up.
Well, there you go.
Okay. Now, I have to explain a little bit, but I'm not going to give too much away.
Okay.
This started out as a Sci-Fi Channel series, and then Prime picked it up for the last 2 seasons. I think it is absolutely brilliant, and I mean literally brilliant. It's set in space. However, this particular series is the most realistic space media, because it's not a movie, it's a series.
Okay.
It is the most realistic I have ever seen. They actually go to planets that actually exist, and it's set way in the future. I'm not going to give too much away. I'm just going to say that it's set so far in the future that they don't bother telling you it's in the future. They just pick up the story where they pick it up. And as you watch it, you start to learn how far. Like, we're so far in the future that not only has man settled and living and currently trying to make Mars a breathable planet, but man has expanded even further, and now they're living on asteroids and that are big enough that man can live on, right? They're living on moons, and man has now been separated. Mankind has now been separated into 3 categories: Earthers, Martians, and the belt. The belt meaning an asteroid belt. These are talking, we're so far in the future that there's generation after generations of people that have only lived on Mars, that don't know Earth, and people who have never stepped foot on a real planet because they were born and raised, and their grandparents are born and raised on asteroids. And so, and again, when you watch it, the things they do, like all the ships, the only time the ships have gravity is when it's moving, because the ships are built. If you imagine the usual penis-shaped ship where it goes straight up, right? All the floor would be facing up. So as it's moving, you're pushed down. Okay, so that's how the ships are designed. You don't really know that until you get way into it. But, there's only like a gravitational force when the ship is moving, and even then it's not very strong. Right. And whenever they're not moving, they have magnetic boots that you see them turn on whenever the ship stops moving.
Right.
And they never drop those details. There's even one scene, I'll give you this one detail. There was a gunfight, because Martians and Earth are always fighting, and the belt is like the slaves, kind of. They're always trying to get their independence.
Okay.
Because their job is to get resources for Mars and for Earth.
Okay.
There's a gunfight in space using spaceships, and it's all over, and then they're trying to get the wounded, but the ship was damaged, so it couldn't move. And by the time the EMTs, they're not real EMTs, they're just people trying to help out, but they go in there, and the one guy was explaining to the other guy, says, we're in trouble. We need to get the ship moving. And they're like, well, we have too many wounded. And he says, no, you don't understand. He says, have you ever seen what happens to a wound with no gravity? The blood pools. You can't get the blood out of the wound. And that's a detail that you never, these guys really thought this through.
Right.
And that detail really brings in the drama and the seriousness of that particular scene. The whole movie, the whole series is like that. The first 3 series, 1, 2, and 3, are just mind-blowingly brilliant. And then the last 2, it's not as bad as Game of Thrones, but you can see that they were just kind of ending the series.
Right.
So the last 2 were like, okay, that was good, not as good. The only good news is by the time you get to series 4, you're so into it that you don't care. You just want to see what's going on.
Yeah, what's happening?
That series is called The Expanse, and it is on Prime.
The Expanse.
And you can watch some on YouTube, but it did start out as a sci-fi original. And I'm telling you, if you like if you even remotely like Star Wars, the movies, you are going to love this series because it's so proper and it's so well done. And some of the characters, like Christian, I can't say her last name properly.
Oh, yeah.
But the actress that plays that woman, I absolutely adore. I've seen that actress in The Possession of Emily Rose. I've seen her in, I think, The Lake House and a couple other things, and I just adore this actress. I can't say her name. I'm sorry. It's a tongue twister. But she's absolutely brilliant, and in my personal opinion, her best work is in The Expanse because she starts from the very first episode to the very last, and they wrote that character brilliantly. She's amazing.
All right, I'll have to try that one.
Yeah, once you get into like the first episode, it takes about I don't know, maybe an hour before it gets its hooks in you. Okay. And then by the time you move to episode 2, you're going, this is kind of cool. And by the time you're into like episode 4 or 5, you're like, this is just amazing.
There's been a couple that I've watched like that, and there's been a couple that I've watched that were really, really good, and then all of a sudden, like they go to something different, like in the next season, it's like, what?
Yeah. I have not watched Game of Thrones. I know it's actually old at this point.
I can't get into it. I tried it. I can't.
See, I've never had access. Believe it or not, for some reason, I cannot find HBO channel.
It's HBO Max.
Yeah, I know, but I can't seem to get it on Prime. I have to look into it a little further.
Oh, it's a standalone app.
Okay.
You don't have Roku.
No, I don't have Roku. So my point is that I don't have access to it, but I did want to start watching it, especially since everyone bashed the last series.
Oh yeah, was that the last season or just the last couple episodes? I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody was all upset about. That's the one everybody was all mad about how it ended.
Yeah.
Well, see, they did the same thing to The Sopranos when it ended, but now everybody loves it. But when it happened, everybody was so mad.
Yeah.
But now it's brilliant, and that's like, okay, well, it was brilliant when they did it, you moron. You just didn't get it.
You know, another one that I thought the ending was weak, only because it was extremely predictable. But the series itself was great. Was The Burn Notice?
See, I didn't watch that one.
It's funny. It's a good series.
Yeah. I don't know. I always, there was one that I was watching that was really good, and then I just totally spaced on it. It's called Banshee. It was on I think it was a Cinemax series, but if you have HBO Max, you get
Cinemax, yeah.
Right. It was on there, but it's about this guy that's he's in like organized crime somehow.
Oh, it's not about an actual banshee.
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
It takes place in Banshee, Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway, I think they were out of New York or Chicago, wherever the hell they were out of, and it was like he was in this criminal gang or whatever, and he started the kingpin. He started messing around with his daughter, and they started dating or whatever, and then everything went bad, and he went to prison. The daughter just disappeared, like whatever. So then he gets out of prison, and now this guy's trying to kill him. So he's trying to find out what the heck to do, where to go, yada, yada, yada. And he finds the daughter in this town called Banshee, Pennsylvania, and he decides he's going to go there. So he does, and then there's like this crazy thing that happens with this would-be off-the-wall guy that tries to rob a bar where everybody's eating, and he kills the guy that's come in town to be the new sheriff. So this guy's like, oh, cool, now I'm him, and now he's the sheriff, being this dude that just got out of prison, part of the criminal. Dude, it's insane. Again, that's when you don't want to watch with your kids because it was on Cinemax, so that'll give you kind of an idea what it's about. But there's very little they hold back in that one. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's a lot of fighting, some violence, crazy. It's insane.
Yeah.
But that one was pretty good. What was the other one? There was a few that I...
Yeah, there's so many.
So good.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But we only got 2 minutes, so...
We only have 2 minutes left?
Well, we can go further, but in 2 minutes it'll be up.
Wow.
Our hour will be up.
We didn't talk about anything.
We did. We talked about a lot of stuff. Well, so much so that now I have to rewatch the whole episode so I can put it in the comments of what we talk about.
Oh, just say stuff.
Yeah. So there you go. If you want a parody of a slasher, and you can watch with the next couple of days for Halloween, Student Bodies. If you want criminal-type movies, Banshee.
Banshee is a great series.
And what was the movie you mentioned?
The movie I was 11-14, but that
11-14.
wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't.
That's a horror movie.
No, that's a. suspense kind of thing. It's 11/14. It shows what happens to all these different people in this town at 11/14.
Oh, okay.
And how it all ties together. So it's pretty interesting.
And if you're in the market for a new series, I definitely recommend checking out The Expanse. It's just amazing.
There you go. I recommend The Wire as long as you're not afraid of a few swear words.
Yeah. Who is really?
Oh, a lot of folks.
Who is?
Here's a great funny story. Back when I was young, like high school young, I used to run around with a bunch of guys racing cars, like drag racing. So there's a thing called blower drive service. They put blowers on cars, that pumps air in. So their theme or their motto or saying was, injection is nice, but I'd rather be blown. So I had a T-shirt, and it said that on the back, and I was at Taco Bell, and this old lady's like, that's disgusting. And I'm like,
yo, you're disgusting.
You don't even know what it
We're
means,
talking
lady.
about
car stuff.
unnaturally aspirated car engines.
Right.
What are you talking about?
Right.
You
Get your mind
sick
out of the
fuck.
gutter, Grandma.
Right.
But anyway.
Nothing better than a good pun.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. But that is true.
Mm-hmm. Okay, like I said, we will talk about the parade a little more as time goes on.
Right.
Unfortunately, by the time you watch this, Halloween will be over.
It will be over. And like I said, and I guarantee none of your kids got doped by somebody that wanted to just make kids high.
Yeah.
They don't do that.
Basically, if they're high, they lied to you, and they did it themselves.
Right.
So, anyways, there's a little public service announcement. But thank you for listening, and
or watching.
I hope you had a great Halloween, and we will talk a little bit more about Thanksgiving as the weeks come.
Oh, are we going to do, because me and Toots were talking about Thanksgiving, are we going to do the make the turkey thing?
Oh, I want to. It's just that's a whole lot of planning and like a whole day. Let me get the job situation under control first, and then we'll see.
Because we were talking about Thanksgiving. She's like, I don't know how to cook a turkey. And I'm like, what? Like,
I've been wanting to do it. I also, everybody I know, my wife and I make our own yogurt. And it's extremely easy. And people think it's very difficult. And I was going to make another video. I'd say another because there's 1,000 all over YouTube on how to make homemade yogurt. So, it's something I'd like to do, but it just takes time. And
I think you should do a series on how to make the dog food.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, dog food's also...
Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people that are buying like this, what's called like the farmer's dog, all the really good, and that's basically you're making your own farmer's dog style food, right?
The only difference is that my dogs are terribly picky.
Well, that's right. Even if the dog's not terribly picky and people want to feed their dogs correctly, I don't know if you want to call it correctly, but natural, healthy things like that instead of dog food, it would be something that people might be interested in.
Well, the story is when we got our dogs 2 years ago, maybe in 3 years ago, don't matter. When we picked them up, at that time, there seemed to be this massive dog food recall. Even Purina, which my veterinarian says is one of the best foods you can get. This comes from a licensed dog doctor, okay? Not just me or some stupid article on Google. My veterinarian. I asked him, because at that time I said, is Blue really as good as they claim? And she said no.
Blue Buffalo.
Yeah, she said no. They're actually getting sued by veterinarians claiming all this BS. She said Science Diet is really good.
Yep.
Purina always has good products, is what she said. Anyways, so at that time, even Purina was having all these dog food recalls. And I told the wife, I said, I'm not, they're so small. I have little dogs. So that billion part per, that 1 part per billionth matters more for them than it does for me. And I just said, you know what? I'm just going to buy food that is meant for human consumption, that has all the regulations in place, because there's almost no regulations for animals.
No.
I said, I can't guarantee that won't have salmonella, but I'll cook it properly. So I started off with chicken, and then chicken went through the roof cost-wise.
It still is.
So I found out that you can buy through a restaurant supplier that's open to the public. I can get like a 9-pound pork loin for $14. And that will last 2 weeks. So that's 2 weeks worth of dog food, 14. Yes, that's expensive, but I get to control everything.
And actually, to be honest with you, $14 is not that bad.
It's not that bad when you're as picky and as scared. Dogs don't live very long. And we love our dogs to death, so I want them to have a healthy life. Now, there is 2 things I want to tell you about. 1, I slow cook the pork because it's easy. I shove it in a crock pot with 0 seasonings and just let it sit for about 12 hours.
Let her roll.
Then I carefully dig it out of the crock pot, and I scrape off as much fat as I can. I don't get all of it, which is why my dogs have such bad gas. Dogs are always farting, and they're farting because it's high fat, and I don't want it to be high fat. But again, chicken costs a fortune right now.
Right, it's ridiculous.
And pork is cheap. And I also looked it up, and they say pork isn't like amazing, but it's good. It's good for dogs.
Okay.
So, anyways, it's not the best, but it's good, and it's better than the stuff they put in like pellet dog food. So this is real simple. I slow cook the pork for 12 hours. Then I let it cool to where I can handle it. I bust it up into real tiny pieces, almost like oatmeal type pieces. I scrape off and get rid of as much as the fat as humanly possible. After that, now this is where it's different because my dogs are weird. I also, once I'm done with that, I spread it on a cookie sheets and I put it in the oven to dry it out. Not necessarily beef jerky, but to have a mixture of, because they like it a little more chewy than a dog that would eat it right cold.
Right. See, I don't know, like that's something, excuse me, that some dogs probably would like, but others would probably be all right if they didn't take that stuff.
Right. And then now people ask, what about the vitamins and minerals? Well, what I do is I go to the store and I buy baby spinach or a spring mix salad. And this is where it gets kind of like, you get ridiculous. But I take that, I bring it home, I throw it in the dehydrator because I have a dehydrator, and I dehydrate it for 10 hours. After that, it busts up and turns into what I can only describe as like oregano seasoning, the little flakes.
Right.
So I now have a small palmful of basically salad sprinkle, and I add a tablespoon of that to every bag, and then... that's it. And so they get a salad and a dinner every time they eat. They eat once a day, and then I'm trying to find a once a day vitamin, but I'm having a hard time because there's no real, when you look online, it's so vast and there's so many spammers and Chinese companies that I don't want to just give them something.
Right.
And the last 2 times I brought it up to my veterinarian, she just referred me to a website that talked, and all the website talks about is what vegetables to add. And that's not what I want because they're not really eating. When I add carrots to it, they pick the carrots out. Don't eat them. Now, they do eat the sprinkles, the salad sprinkles. I'm just going to call it that. The salad oregano. They do eat
weed,
that.
Don't let them lie.
But because the internet said not to give dogs too much spinach in one sitting, they only get a tablespoon for 2 of them.
What did you say? You put a tablespoon in the bag. No, is the bag 1 serving?
Yes, I want basically 1 can, like a Campbell's soup can. That's like 1 because they're small dogs.
Yeah, so you get a can per dog or 1 can split between the 2?
Split between the 2.
Okay.
And then the good thing is they don't fight over the food because they're brothers. They've known each other their whole life. So if one's more hungry, one will eat more.
Right.
And then the next day, the other one will eat more. So it balances out. They're both good weight. Matter of fact, Sully's a little overweight.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, they're closely watched by our vet. And I just wish that I could get them some vitamins, but I haven't been able to find one that I can trust.
Well, apparently the smaller one thinks there's good vitamins in eyeballs.
Oh, he's just nuts.
He just was sniffing my eyeball.
He's an ornery little shit.
Which I've
If you want to know what dogs we're talking about, you can go to YouTube and you type in Lux and Sully. Lux and Sully are my dogs, and yes, they have a YouTube channel. So you can see who's who and what's what. But anyway, so yes, I mean, I absolutely could make a video showing people how to make dog food.
Well, you just told them.
Yeah, it's actually really not hard. The only thing, same thing with chicken. Buy a bunch of chicken breast that you trust. Throw it in the oven, 300 for an hour. Just forget about it for an hour. When it's done, you can put it in a food processor, or you can dice it up with a knife, cut off the fat and the ligaments, and that's it. You'll have a pile of meat. And just add what you think, there's a couple of joint, I can't say the word, there's like a joint vitamin. Just be careful of how much you add. Make sure
glucosamine.
Make sure the doses are right for the weight of your dog. That would
be more for older dogs. I think that's kind of what that whole thing is. I should probably take that because I'm old.
Yeah. But anyway, so if you all out there know of a dog vitamin, a once a day chewable dog vitamin that you trust and comes from a good, proper source, let me know.
Just go to GNC and put in Mega Dog instead of Mega Man.
Yeah.
And boom, there you go.
But okay, but yeah, I could do that. We can start making some videos.
That'd be kind of fun. Just, I don't know, stupid stuff.
Because I did have an idea. I have making a Thanksgiving a dinner, more than just the turkey, but a dinner is not a difficult thing. It is a little time consuming, but it's not difficult. And I was going to make a video showing you how to pick, like, for example, you don't have to have real potatoes for mashed potatoes.
Not really.
I can make a bagged fake taters. I can make a bag of mashed potatoes taste better than the real thing.
I'll tell you, I think they're a buck.
Yes, they're like $1.12 or something. You could buy depending on where you're at.
Yeah, the different flavored ones. I just buy the Idaho flavored one. You just.
Yep, the home style, butter home style is what I usually get.
Those, and then they had like a 4 cheese that was pretty good.
Yeah.
The 4 cheese, if you take it when you make it, and then you put just a little bit of ranch dressing and then stir it in, that's really good.
Yeah.
Not really good for you, but it's really good.
But no, we could do that. I actually thought about starting a Patreon's page.
Patreon, yeah.
Yeah. But the problem is that we need to get you guys back. The year of being off kind of made our audience scatter. So we need to get you guys to come back and start listening to us. And then we can really give you what I've been wanting to give you since the beginning.
And I think once we said, we're going to do the parade, we're going to do some things like that, we can get our name back out there. And at least we'll get some local people listening and watching or watching.
Yep. Don't forget that
watching. What is that? Watching.
Watching. You can say watching.
Watching. Yeah, watching. Thanks for watching.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. We get some people local, and then people like, you watch these two idiots.
Just get the name back out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're still doing good in Alliance, and that was the one time that Adam and I showed up and talked to people in person.
Right.
So.
Well, I don't know. I think if we just get a few people going, then like people are like, did you ever see these two idiots talking about nothing?
Well, I want to get the guests on.
We can do that. I could probably find some guests that would be real interesting.
Yeah. We just need to come up with a little bit better than the table, a little better setting. It's all in the works. All of it's going to change.
There you go. That's going to be when we start getting things moving. And I don't mind spending some time doing stuff if it's worth it. But if it's just me and you to watch it, it's probably
right. But for now, it's just us being goofy trying to make you laugh.
Well, listen, all you do is look at my face and they can laugh. I always say I'm funny, but looks aren't everything.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm done acting like a jackass.
All right. Well,
you guys have a good week.
See ya.
Bye.